What's up, everyone? Shoe Booty Sports coming at you Tuesday night, normal time. This is your host, Graham Powell, co-host Bradley Brown on the other screen. Say what's up, Brad.
Ho ho ho.
There you
What's
go.
up?
The Christmas episode. It will be what, December 26th, this time next week. So yeah, this is technically our Christmas episode. Should have brought my Prince Christmas tree in here. Well, that would have been a lot of work, but maybe
Been pretty cool.
yeah, it would have been pretty cool. Maybe next year. We'll see. But yeah, quick shout out to our sponsor. Y'all know the drill. Uh, Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all five of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion, submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series, and you can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a like while you're there, and follow us on Twitter, X, whatever, at Shoe Booty Sports. Okay, so let's talk about NBA hoops a little bit. The in-season tournament champions, the LA Lakers, they raised their banner. They raised the prestigious in-season tournament banner. It was unveiled last night. And what'd you think about them having a banner? Of course, we talked about it last week. I wasn't a fan of it, but seeing it and all that, what'd you think of the banner ceremony, all that? Let's see if we
I
have the
didn't
same
see
opinion.
yeah, I didn't see the ceremony, but I did see the I guess the placement of the banner. They hung it with the championship banners. Uh I didn't like that. I mean, it's not a real championship. It's just a tournament win, I guess. But I'd been cool with them hanging it, like on the other side of the gym or something, but they just hung it right up there. I don't know. It looks a little different, but I don't know. I didn't like it. Not their placement, anyways.
I've heard that argument. I've heard people say I've heard an argument that it would be cool to have it like maybe out where the fans are, like where the fans could like take pictures like in front of it, or next to it
Yeah.
and all that, or under it, that kind of thing. I've heard that. I personally don't have a problem with it because if it's a championship, no, it's not an NBA championship, but I mean it's still the in-season tournament championships. I mean, I guess you should throw it up there with the rest of them. I mean, you're not it's not like you're rocking you know, Western Conference final banners or Western Conference champion banners or Pacific Division championship banners. You got your world championship banners and I guess this NBA in season tournament one. And here's why I'm okay with it primarily. I like it because I didn't like the idea of a banner, but seeing it and seeing how they're doing it and how they're trying to market it, the league is behind this too. It's one big banner and it's just got the years that they won it, right? It's the exactly like I talked about last week how the Razorbacks in their basketball practice facility and probably in Bud Walton too. But you see it in the practice facility like Elite 8, Sweet 16, and then they have the years, right? That's essentially what the Lakers are doing here. And that's probably what the rest of the teams will do that win it from here on. They'll just have that one in season tournament champions, and then they just have the year there. And then you just add that. I'm okay with that. I have no problem with it, especially if you're trying to make this a big deal. If you're trying to make this something that the players should get excited about, if the fans are going to get it excited about, then you got to hype it up. If you act like if the players and the league act like it's not a big deal, no one's going to care. So you got to do something to make it to build some prestige behind it. And I feel like this is a good start. And and I say the league was pushing this. The league was had to be pushing at this, right? Raise a banner, do it like this.
Yeah.
Have one banner, just put the year there. Have an unveiling. Uh, LeBron and company celebrate with champagne afterward. Pop the cork once you win it. They had to be behind, like, make it a big deal, make it something that you're excited about, so that other, well, I'd say other players, but yeah, other players and fans can get excited about. If you're wanting to build something and have it to where fans can get excited, and have it to where players are invested early in the season, this is a good start, I feel like. I feel like the league did a good job marketing this, building it, and trying to make it something special. And making it special is going to take time, of course, and great games. But
Yeah.
I feel like this was a good start. I'd say if I were grading the NBA's marketing behind it, A plus. I don't know if they could have done better. Do you see any area of improvement that they could have done to at least build it and hype it up and make it something that people can get excited about? I feel like they knocked it out of the park.
Uh,
You still don't like it,
I
do
don't
you?
know. Yeah, I still don't like it. I don't see what the big deal is. Uh, so the players got, $500,000 bonus. Okay. How does that affect me as a casual fan?
You changed the color of the court and had some spicier jerseys or
You
something. I don't know.
you can do that on 2K.
Yeah, it looked like a bunch of wild berry pop tarts. If I think they still make those. The courts. I kind of liked it. It hurt my eyes a little bit,
A
but
little
and it
bit.
was kind of hard to follow, like, the game as well. It just, I don't know. The players blend in better on TV on the traditional hardwood color, I guess. I don't know, but if you're trying to make this a big deal, and I'm just talking over and over and over again, same thing like a broken record. But if you're trying to make it a big deal, then you got to hype it up and act like it's a big deal. You're saying, what's the big deal? I mean, they're trying to make it a big deal. That's the point. And I feel like marketing wise, they at least they did it right. I don't know what else they could have done to improve it. I think so. I think people are going to like it or dislike. I think people are going to dislike it some, no matter what you do, no matter what you do with it. But the whole point is you're trying to get players and fans engaged in the season early, rather than summer, rather than April when the playoffs start, the end of April. Like, now, how
Yeah.
do we get people into it and tuning in now? Well, I mean, this is a good start.
Yeah. Good start. We'll see where it goes. So
We will. So fair foul, Lakers hanging a banner for the in season tournament. You're going with foul, I'm guessing.
I'm going with fair, just foul in the location.
Okay. Like I said, I'm okay. I'm gonna go fair all around, just because if it's gonna be a championship, you got to treat it like one. And I feel like if you're gonna put it with the NBA championship banners, you got to do it the way you did it. Just have one banner with the year under it, and hoping to add to it later on. There's a lot of space there, so you're hoping to add more as the years progress. But I'm okay with it. I feel like it was fair. I feel like it was a good move by the NBA to do this, and I feel like it was a success. Um, you're going to get backlash early on this stuff. Not everybody's going to like it, but for what it was, I thought it was well done. All right, so moving on. As you folks can see on Spotify and YouTube, I'm rocking my Grizzlies hat in honor of Ja Morant's return to the starting lineup, to the floor. Yeah, not just to the starting lineup, to the floor. Ja Morant makes his return tonight. They are playing the Pelicans right now. They were getting curb stomped. Last you had checked, they had cut
Yeah.
it to single digits. Last I had checked before I came in here. I'm looking up the score now.
It
Of
looks pretty
course,
close. It's 109, 107 Pelicans.
there you go with 3:16 to go. And I don't know what Jaws numbers are. Check it out real quick. All right. Ja's got 28 points. Okay, so Ja Morant being Ja Morant, they're obviously a better team without him. That was the Grizzlies were snake bit from the start of this season. Everybody is either suspended or hurt. But you're missing so many guys, and it's not a very it's not a very good team without those guys. And you see the difference Ja Morant makes. If anything, he draws defenders and opens up, plays for his teammates, scoreable buckets for his teammates, and that's the Ja Morant effect. One, the magic, the stuff he can do up in the air with the ball in his hand, and creating shots for his teammates. I mean, and that's a huge difference. And in a sport like basketball, when there's only five on the floor for one team, one player can make all the difference. We've seen that with LeBron. No matter where he goes, success either follows or failures follow his departure often. I mean, look at how the Cleveland Cavaliers have done with and without LeBron James.
Yep.
So one player can make, granted, that's LeBron, but Ja is a superstar caliber player, and one player can make all the difference. So it's good to have Ja back. I would have liked to have seen him when I was at the Grizzlies game earlier this year, but still an awesome experience nonetheless. And yeah, I'll hopefully go back sometime and see him out there in the lineup. But good game going on right now. Good return game from Ja Morant. I just hope he can keep his head straight and be wise with the people he keeps around him that have his best interest in mind and not just theirs for internet clout.
Yeah.
And that's been the problem with him. And hopefully, yeah, we see a different Ja Morant, at least in that way. Stays out of trouble. So Ja Morant back. Close game at the moment. A tie ball game right now. 109-109. Yeah, 144 to go. And that's a TNT game. So that is something I get to do when I get off of here. I get to hopefully catch some of the NBA inside the NBA crew.
Yeah.
Chuck, Shaq, Kenny, and crew. EJ. I can't say all. I can't say three of the four and leave out EJ. So okay. Look forward to seeing that. Okay. Other basketball news: the Arkansas Razorback men nearly choked away a big one in North Little Rock at Simmons Bank Arena against Lipscomb. Lipscomb, I assume it's Lipscomb University. But yeah, they were up 20 at one point in the second half. Lipscomb goes on a whatever nothing run. And did they take the lead at one point at the end of the game, or did they just tie it?
I'm not sure. I did not watch any of that game.
I watched the game. I watched pretty much the whole game. I was actually tuning out. I was playing on my phone when they were up 20. I had the game
Yeah.
on, but I was doing stuff on my phone. Uh, Rhino Race's stuff, I believe, and just catching up on other emails. And I was, like I said, just doing stuff on my phone. Then I look up and Lipscomb is making a run. I'm like, okay, throw the band-aid on this, stop it. And then all of a sudden it's a game. So it got very interesting and in a hurry. Almost choked the game away. Devo Davis got a big shot at the end of the game that essentially kind of gave Arkansas just enough cushion to get out of there with a win. Man, that would have been a sour way to leave the Central Arkansas fans to do that. I mean, to be up 20 and to have lost to Lipscomb there
Yeah.
in Simmons Bank Arena in front of your Central Arkansas fans, man, that would have been devastating. But a win is a win, and they pulled it out. 7-4 looks a lot better than 6-5. That's Arkansas's record currently, 7-4. Not in the top 25, but there is hope. There's a lot more hope. 7-4 just looks a whole lot better than 6-5. Can't explain it, especially when the loss would have been to a Lipscomb team. Now they've lost to, I don't even remember. It was like UNC Greensboro or something. That was their first
Yeah.
loss of the season. I think that's right, actually. Um, and they've lost to Memphis. They lost to handily by like 15 to North Carolina. But then you go beat Duke at home.
Yeah.
Who's better than all of them, at least on paper. But that's Arkansas. Then you lose to Oklahoma. I mean, this has kind of been how it's gone for these must teams these last few seasons. A lot expected, and you kind of fumble out of the gate. I mean, Oklahoma, it feels like, has beaten Arkansas like 5 years in a row. At least that's what I don't know. I don't think that's the case, but that's what it's felt like. I think they've won the last three, in that matchup. So hopefully history repeats itself in this case and that Arkansas can turn it around and get things going once conference play begins because it's coming up. I mean, we're getting pretty close.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
It
So
is Auburn and
they better figure that shit out.
yeah, and Arkansas and Auburn, that's turned into a pretty good rivalry with these coaches, with Muss and Bruce Pearl. That's turned into a pretty fun matchup. Something that fans can
Yeah.
get into. Those teams don't like each other, and that makes for some entertaining games and TV, and honestly wakes Arkansas up some. So and I feel like Auburn too. But yeah, we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Okay, but nonetheless, Arkansas gets a win. Their next game is Thursday. I don't even remember against who. Another kind of mid-major type program, but I'll tune in. We'll see how it goes. Okay, switching sports. What were you doing? Well, real quick, what were you doing during the Razorback men's basketball game? So you didn't watch
No
any of
idea.
it.
No idea. Forgot it was on, didn't watch it.
Well, it was an ESPN Plus game. That's the only reason I watched it. Like most of the people I know didn't watch it. I just happened to have it, so I tuned into the game. But yeah, just curious, and it's one you expect them to win. And honestly, I was hoping I was like, please don't go into overtime because I really want to go to Chick-fil-A because I had $20 and gift card money. Memphis winning, by the way, 115-113. So how about that? Okay, so Memphis gets the win. They haven't gotten a lot of those this season. They do it in Ja
It is,
Morant's return, so good start.
it is the Pelicans, so
Hey, a win's a win when you're this Memphis team this year. A win is a win
true.
is a win. Okay, so yeah, I was wanting to go get Chick-fil-A because the one in Cabot closes at 8 o'clock. So I was like, I need to like put in this order so I can go pick it up. But they, like I said, Devo got the shot, big shot at the end. Razorbacks pulled it out, got the win. I got to go get my chicken. So all was well in my world Saturday night. Okay, jumping sports. Let's talk some NFL action. Aaron Rodgers has confirmed that he will not return this season. He said that on the Pat McAfee show. I guess it was today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's on every Tuesday.
okay. Yeah, I guess it was on this morning. So, shocker, right? He's not returning to a team that's not very good.
Yeah, after watching that O line on Sunday, I wouldn't either. The Jets screwed me in my playoffs, by the way, completely.
We're going to talk about that in
Completely.
a little bit. Because I got to tell you about the experience I had there, fantasy football.
I know what your experience was.
Yeah, you do. Uh, Dak and the Cowboys, as Stephen A. Smith would say, they're an accident waiting to happen. And
uh,
Dak was I guess screw it. I guess we're going to talk about it now. Let me get it off my chest. Dak was a free agent in my league for weeks. He was owned in 90 something percent of leagues. I think it was like 93, 92 or 93 at that point before I picked him up. And he was killing it. He was killing it for 4 weeks in a row. And I was like, I got to get him just to keep somebody else from getting it, you know? So I pick him up, and then Joe Burrow gets hurt like the next week. And I'm thinking, well, thank God I got Dak. And I plug Dak in, and Dak has been killing it, was killing it
yeah,
week after week after week after week. But I just kept I was like, is this going to stick around? Is this going to be the guy? And then it happened so long to the point where I was like, Dak gets it. He's figured it out. But still in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is it going to happen? Is he going to come back down to earth? And then sure enough, he
Same old
came back down
Cowboys.
to earth in a big way at Buffalo Sunday. And yeah, Sunday afternoon. And yeah, and he happened to do it in the first round of the fantasy football playoffs.
Yeah,
So, of course, it's 2 weeks in my league, this round.
lucky.
I'm actually only down 2 points. I was up
Wow.
I was up 8 or 9 last night on the last Seattle Seahawks drive. And then of course the guy I'm playing has DK Metcalf, and it's like the Eagles forgot. I was like, oh, we got to cover DK Metcalf. I mean, Bradbury just was Bradbury in the Super Bowl, didn't do much, and Metcalf had a couple of big catches, one really big one at the end. I was like, well, that's it. I've lost the lead because I was at least up like three or four at that point, and then he had that bomb. Drew Lock had that bomb to Metcalf in double coverage, and I was like, well, I just lost the lead, and I did. So I'm down two going into this final week of the semifinal round. But at that point, I mean, it's really a pick 'em, right? I mean, if you're up to, I mean, it's good to be. You'd rather be up two than down two. But I mean, it's basically a new week going into this
Yeah.
week. So I got that going for me. Yeah, and I got to stick with Dak. It's too much of a knee jerk reaction to pull him, even though they have a pretty tough matchup this week playing the Dolphins. So it's not going to be necessarily easier.
Yeah.
Uh, Now Buffalo's coming on. I mean, Buffalo's coming on. Everybody's like,
They're
man,
all in
I'd hate.
must wins. Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, I'd hate to see them in the playoffs. Like, well, they got to get to the playoffs. As of now, I believe they're out of the playoffs. You got to do this is
Yeah.
the time of year that you got to do math, folks, and where you got to do a little bit of math. Right now, Buffalo's not in it. They need help from other people,
Yeah.
but they looked really good Sunday at home.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. My in one league, my I was in the semifinals and to go to the championship, and that team just straight up shit the bed. I had two players put up season lows. Brees Hall got me a whopping 1.9 points.
Ooh, ouch.
Um, yeah. Garrett Wilson got me 5.9 points. And Travis Kelsey about put up his season low with 7 points. And I played against Waddell, who just damn near put up a season high, or he did put up a season
You
high.
talking about
Played
Jalen
against,
Waddle?
yeah,
Okay.
Waddell.
I
Who
was like,
get,
who
yeah.
is Waddell?
I put, I
It's like,
played
who's
against
that?
freaking, I played against Carr, and he put up a season high. And I played against the Indianapolis Colts defense, who scored like 23 freaking points for a defense. Got curb stomped. Well, in my other league, I beat the guy by 120 points. I scored 220 something points
120
to
points.
to make the playoffs. To make the playoffs. So
Wow. Okay, so
yeah, but
mixed reaction for you. Results, that is.
the mixed reaction. But yeah, the one where my team shit the bed in, that was the big money league where you get to keep a trophy for a full year. And yeah, a lot of bragging rights, and that one hurt. That one hurt. Both,
I
yeah, both teams that were predicted to win, both just got stomped. So
I still want in that
making the
league, by the way. If there's a
yeah
spot that comes up, I want the first invite. Whoever I have to talk to
making
for that, let's make it
yeah
happen.
and in fantasy football, making the playoffs is a skill. Winning in the playoffs is blind luck.
To an extent. To an extent, yeah. I had Jamar Chase get hurt, although he still got
Especially
me
with
10
single
points.
especially with single week matchups in playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I had Jamar Chase get hurt. I mean, I had other guys show. I had guys show out on my bench, but so did the guy I'm playing. He had like two guys get. He had two or three guys get 20 points on the bench. I had Terry McLaurin
This
go
guy's
off
bench was
on my
trash.
bench.
This guy's bench was trash. Like he played the only people he could play, and they just so happened to just perform.
I did
My
plug
team woke up
Rashee
in the middle of the
Rice.
night and just shit the bed.
I did plug Rashee Rice as a flex player this past week, and that turned out to be a really good move because I mean he
Yeah.
worked out Sunday. Uh, and by the way, speaking of the Chiefs, Kadarius Toney is the worst NFL wide receiver I've ever
Worst
seen in my
receiver
life.
I've ever seen. They should. I'm surprised they haven't cut him already.
I won't say worst receiver. I'll say the worst professional receiver I've ever seen. I'm not going to say
Yes.
who, but I won't say who. I won't do them dirty like that. But we may or may not have grown up with somebody that dropped every pass that was ever thrown to him in a game. I don't think he ever caught a pass in a game. I think every pass that was thrown his way was dropped.
I know who you're talking about.
Of course you do. But that's the worst receiver I've ever seen. Worst receiver I've ever seen. Kadarius Toney is the worst professional receiver I've ever seen.
Yeah.
No excuse for that.
That
And
ball hit
that's
him right in the stinking hands.
and he does stuff like that every week. He does stuff to cost them every week. Obviously
Yeah.
the
Not dropping passes, you're lining up a yard and a half off sides.
yeah,
You know,
like that's crazy. And for him to not take accountability to say the ref should warn him. You're turning and looking at Mahomes. You should be able to look down and see that you're half a yard ahead of the ball.
yeah.
No accountability, no hands. Every game it's something with him. And that just goes to show the Chiefs aren't a great team. Because if they were a great team, he wouldn't be out there. He would have been cut a long time ago. Or at least put reduced to the practice squad. But
Yeah.
that's how much that's I mean, they actually need him. They need him. That just goes to show the Chiefs aren't a great team. There's a reason they have what
I don't even know if Stickum could help that dude.
what do they have? 4 or 5 losses? How many
Yeah.
losses do they have?
I think they have 5.
Yeah, I think it is. Speaking of teams that have 5 losses, though, how about the Cleveland Browns? 9-5 with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco throwing absolute darts to the opposing team and then throwing absolute darts to his own team
Yeah.
down the stretch. I mean, just going all Joe Flacco, but getting the win. It's cool.
Helping me
It's
go
cool
off
to
with
see.
Njoku. Yeah.
Yes. And it's been the season of the backup quarterback. We've had a lot of starters get hurt. Flacco taking over for Watson, Gardner Minshew taking over for Anthony Richardson, who got hurt really early because he was still trying to play college Florida ball in the NFL. Realized quickly that ain't going to work. Zach Wilson in for Aaron Rodgers, Jake Browning in for Joe Burrow, Tommy Cutlets, Tommy DeVito in for Danny Dimes. That's just a fun name to say. Tommy Cutlets, man. I'm
Yeah.
rooting for that guy just because I want to keep saying Tommy DeVito every week or Tommy Cutlets. Tommy Cutlets. It's fun. It's fun to say. I want to see him, although they didn't look very good Sunday, right?
No.
Yeah. So but it's backup quarterbacks, you know. It's the year of the backup. It's a weird year, and you can see why all the rules are in place to protect the quarterbacks, at least right now, because there aren't many stars. No, there are stars left, but there are plenty of stars left. But a lot of starting quarterbacks have been out. So we've seen a lot of other guys get their chance. Um, yeah. Let's okay, real quick. Are the Eagles in trouble? They're 10-4 now. They were 10,
I
weren't
would
they 10-1?
Yeah, I would say they are, but their next 3 games are against New York, Arizona, and New York. So I think they're fine. Now when it comes to playoff times, probably not.
Let's the Eagles are the kind of team I think that if you're going to be able to turn it around, you can. It's worth noting Jalen Hurts was pretty sick. Like I mean, like really sick.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes a difference. You're playing football, you're not feeling well, and especially I don't know to play his style where you're running on top of that, and when you're not feeling well, you're probably going to make not going to make the best decisions when you're under pressure. He didn't last night. That pick at the end of the game, I didn't think it was smart to throw it there because you could have worked the clock a little bit more. You had some timeouts. You could have hit something in the middle of the field. But then again, he's been pretty good at taking his shots this season. He's had a lot of turnovers this year.
Yeah.
Had a lot of turnovers for a 200 whatever $1 million quarterback, 230,
Yeah.
$250 million quarterback, whatever it is now. Uh, a lot of turnovers, but still they're 10-4. And with that offensive line, that run game, the secondary's not very good, but
No, they
it's
get torched.
yes, they do. But the interior defense isn't bad, and they were really good last year. But with that offensive line and run game, if you are going to be able to turn it around with Jalen, that's the best way to do it. And that's the thing, Jalen. That's the scary thing, though. Jalen Hurts didn't get sacked. He didn't get sacked once uh, last night. No sacks from Seattle, and still turning the ball over like that. You can't do that. But it's like you said, it's an easier schedule down the stretch. You can turn it around right before the playoff time. If I'm Dallas, it's one game. It depends on how they respond. You could forget about that game in a hurry, but they jumped all the way to the wild card with that loss. Like
Yeah.
they're no
When
longer.
when they lose big.
Yes, they do. When it's not close. At least as of late, it hadn't been
That's
close. Like
I think
they
that's a
got
problem.
blown. They got blown out.
Yeah.
It's a big problem. And I thought they were off to a good start. Like Dak got that uh, late hit on him as he was sliding, and then Zach
Yeah.
Martin runs over and basically just bumps the bumps the guy down, which you get a penalty and it offset the penalty committed, from Buffalo. But I was okay with that because I'm like, this is your Hall of Fame offensive lineman sticking up for your quarterback. I had no problem with that. I feel like that's necessary a lot of times. But, that was kind of the start of just multiple mistakes that the Bills capitalized on. They never looked back. So it's wait and see right now with Dallas. If they repeat, if they come anywhere close to what they did this past week, I'll say, whew, okay, they might be in trouble, right? But I think the Eagles are more likely to turn it around than Dallas. But just based on their ability to run the ball in that offensive line.
Yeah.
Dallas can do it. They're not far off, but the Eagles have the Eagles were in the Super Bowl last year. The Cowboys haven't shown me anything. They haven't shown me they can get to the Super Bowl or
I,
win a
yeah.
playoff game.
I definitely don't see any either two in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, the Eagles. Let's wait and see. But I've got San Francisco and Baltimore the favorites right now,
Yeah. I
and
would agree with that.
I would like to see that. I would love to see that matchup, that Super Bowl matchup. Whatever year that they played each other, when it was Flacco and Kaepernick in the Super Bowl, where Flacco just went on a tear that playoff run and then got $100 million contract, and then years later becomes a backup for the Cleveland Browns at 38 years old. But either way, that's how long ago it was. I would love to see this rematch. Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy and company, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel. Man, that would be a fun Super Bowl to watch. I'm all for it. And that's the two best teams right now. Who would you favor in that matchup if we
San
did
Fran.
see that? You're not even thinking
49ers.
of not even thinking about
Not
it.
even thinking about it.
That Baltimore team's really good, man. I mean,
Really good,
that's a good
man, but
defense. Lamar's like being smart with his body, even like
yeah.
he's avoiding big hits. He's been so good this year, but so have the 49ers. Gosh, I don't know. I'm more hesitant than you are. I don't know who I would pick. Honestly, I would probably take Baltimore. I would take Lamar over Brock Purdy.
I would love to see Lamar get his first Super Bowl ring, but I would have to put my money on San Fran.
Yeah, I think I would pick Baltimore just because of the Lamar factor. Now, granted, you got a Bosa rushing after him, but I mean, it's Lamar Jackson. He can run away, but you can only run so far too when you got that kind of pass rush. It's one of those toss up games for me, man. But I could definitely see San Fran winning it. Um, but okay, let's before we get out of here, let's touch up on Rashard Mendenhall's tweet. Did you see that about the the racial tweet talking about tired of white guys or not good white guys, whatever, commenting on current players, I guess it was. I don't even know where the race thing came from,
I
but
don't
he
either,
he
but
proposed
yeah,
it. I mean, he went out of his way to make it a race thing. It was
yeah.
a stupid tweet. He tried to explain himself and then just sounded more dumb in the tweet. Talking about essentially let's change the Pro Bowl to like all white and all black, and was essentially saying the all black team would blow out the all white team. And a couple of people responded and were like, "I'm not so sure about that. I mean, let's think about that." And they reeled off the list of like the white guys. Like you got some Bosa's on defense. You've got
Yeah.
you got Josh Allen at quarterback. You got Cooper Kupp at receiver, McCaffrey in the backfield. Adam
Yeah.
Thielen was one because who else are you going to throw in there? I mean, that's a
Well,
decent number two, I guess. But you got some solid offensive linemen. Like I said, you got a
what about
pass rush.
secondary?
Exactly. I was getting to that. You're not going to have a secondary. I guess you're going to put a bunch of safeties back there because the white cornerback is just extinct, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember there being a white corner with a C cornerback in the NFL since Jason Sehorn with the
Yeah.
Giants in the early 2000s. I'm talking
Yeah.
like 2000.
Been over 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, a long time. And he was like the only one. And that's why I remember Jason Sehorn because he was like the one white cornerback.
Yeah.
So that's why he sticks out to me. And they were like, the Giants team made it to the Super Bowl that year. Got curb stomped by the Baltimore Ravens, but they got to the Super Bowl. But yeah, like okay, if we're just taking like all right, so I would say Lamar would be the black quarterback, right? Who would you put over him?
I'm not putting Jalen over him, that's for sure.
No, no, you don't put Jalen over Lamar Jackson. Yeah, Lamar would carve up that secondary, the
Yeah.
non-existent secondary. So, and then somebody had tweeted at him. Like I was like retweeting the tweets that I liked that were responding. One guy said, you fumbled that tweet like you fumbled the ball in the Super Bowl, something like that. And like that was one of my favorites. But the other was who gets Mahomes? I,
Yeah.
I laughed out loud at that. And one of the guys proposed like all the biracial guys, like they just got to go through the draft, like it's like a pick 'em. So it's basically like whoever gets Mahomes is probably going to have the advantage. But I mean, I don't know. It would be a interesting game. It would not be a blowout like Rashard Mendenhall suggests. It was a stupid tweet, stupid prediction, but anyway, it was fun for us. It gave us some content.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a fun episode. But we're out of time. Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see y'all next week.